Sir, for taking the time to talk to us. First, you talked about the role of UNCTAD and how it is supposed to help mainstream the economies of developing nations into the global economy. Do you believe that you have been able to achieve this role?
Yes, over the years, my organization is one of its most important activity is capacity building among technical officers, whether it is customs officers, or the revenue authority, or the central bank, on managing modern instruments of collecting and protecting public revenue. This capacity building program that we run. In fact, one of our most successful products is something called Asikuda, which is the automated system for customs management, which is the standard customs management electronic platform in 76 countries in the world. We continue to do this, and we will continue to build on this to help governments improve their revenue collection capacity.
There is the question of illicit financial flows, tax planning, and the continued attrition of the African capital. This continues to be a problem for many African economies. How do we ensure that we start to tackle this?
We have to quantify the extent of the problem. In our World Investment Report 2015, we published research which showed that every year, tax-related hemorrhage of resources out of Africa, of the developing world, exceeds $100 billion. We are supporting campaigns internationally to do something about tax havens. Similarly, to have international cooperation on tax governance. We support the principle that companies should pay the highest taxes in the places where they make their most profit, not where they are registered as nominal headquarters. And we also encourage the private sector to play its role in stigmatizing unsustainable behavior, like continued profit shifting.
A lot of time, African governments have little or no capacity to ensure that they even start to deal with this attrition of capital. How do we go about ensuring that we start to build capacity in these areas?
I am going to the G20 ministerial meeting in Shanghai, China this week. And one of the things we are dealing with within that context is also how do we increase cooperation on tax evasion behavior? How do we set standards for tax responsibility for corporations? But at the end of the day, corporations must also start building internal governance standards that stigmatize such illicit behavior and profit shifting, particularly in areas like developing countries which have no institutional capacity to stem the problem.
So just what is the importance of ensuring that developing nations participate in the global economy?
No, you know, we cannot pretend that we have the ability to close the gap between rich and poor, countries and individuals. But we present to the international community the scenarios of the potential destabilization that comes from extreme disparity between countries and within countries. And we blow up what's already existing. You can see the challenges that are affecting Western politics because of growing internal inequality, that wealth concentration, declining incomes for the lower working classes, and a shrinking middle class, even as prosperity for the top 1% grows. These are challenges that we lead dialogue where academia, governments, and business can try to develop new models of sustainability to reduce these extremities, but we cannot fix it directly as an organization.
The UNCTAD conference is in Nairobi mid-July. If there was one critical thing that you thought that needed to be achieved in this meeting, what would that be? There was one thing that you could highlight.
The most important outcome of an UNCTAD conference that comes every 4 years is to renew the mandate of my organization, to give me terms of reference for the next 4 years on what I have to do with my staff internationally. But apart from that, a major expectation within the main conference is that leaders from different backgrounds, from different countries and regions of the world can discuss together about how can we make development work. How can we concretely contribute to dealing with the problem of poverty? And third, the World Investment Forum, which is held pari passu with the conference, brings together some of the most successful business leaders from the world to look for business opportunities, partnerships, investment opportunities in a way that can have impact in partnership. When I last had the World Investment Forum, within 4 days, there was transactions worth $14 billion arrived at. I expect in Nairobi that companies and governments will sign deals that can raise more than $14 billion in fresh investment as part of sustainability. It means that business has a very good opportunity to hold governments to account for the longer term, that the short-term plans for re-election are consistent with the long-term commitments on sustainability, and because it's consistent with the longer-term view of business enterprise themselves. Yeah.
Finally, it must be nostalgic that after so long, in fact since 1976, the conference is back again in Nairobi, and with you a Kenyan at its helm. Please tell us something about that.
Yes, Nairobi is the first city in the world to ever hold UNCTAD conference twice. To me, it's not nostalgic. I mean, I was here, I was in high school when an UNCTAD was held that time. But I worked at it to bring it here. So it's not here by accident. Yes. And I want to thank the President of Kenya and the Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Ambassador Amina Mohammed. They were true partners in working to get this conference to come to Nairobi.